Wow, it is already that time. Time for the course project. It feels like yesterday it was the beginning of the semester, but it also feels like yesterday I started college. So I don't really know which one feels more like yesterday, but time is definitely going by so fast. And this project was really fun. I really enjoyed it because you got to pick your favorite philosophical arguments that we learned over the semester and put them all, or three of them, put them all together and come up with your own argument. So I thought that was really fun and interesting to do, to come up with your own argument. It really made me think hard. Well, I mean, not necessarily hard, but it put my mind to work to try to explain how my argument fits into these three philosophical arguments that I chose. The three philosophical arguments that I chose was Russell's value of philosophy, Marxism in a nutshell, and Hardwick's ownership, possession, and consumption. Those were my three, I think those were my three favorite topics of this semester. I really enjoyed those, and I think they're more of a life lesson out of all the arguments that we learned this semester. I feel like those are more of like the top tier of what you can learn from life. So I'm going to start out by showing you all my closet, which that's so weird probably, but you'll get it once I put my argument together. You'll understand why I showed you my closet. So here's my closet. I have a lot of clothes. A lot. So it's a big walk-in closet, and my clothes are still smashed together. So I know that's weird, but I will explain it now. So now to explain why I showed you my closet. All those clothes I have, that would be ownership. I don't even wear half of them. So to begin, the Russell's value of philosophy is talking about how everything that began, such as psychology, other science matters, such as physics and everything like that, all began with philosophy. So putting all of those together, you pretty much get what is philosophy. So for the Russell's value of philosophy, he talks about two topics: the instinctive man and the practical man. The instinctive man only cares about his circle. So he cares about his people. He wants a circle of close friends, people to be there for him, such as maybe family. The practical man neglects his mind, taking care of his mind, but he only wants material needs. That would be the Russell's value of philosophy. Marxism, in a nutshell, is how people go out and labor every day, but some individuals only want what they can have. They do not think about others in that aspect. They just keep wanting and wanting, and that is Marxism. That is when people only want what he or she can get. In Hardwick's ownership, possession, and consumption, he explains how individuals will continue to want and want and want. He talks about how people are greedy. So possession is you actually use it. So, for example, these sunglasses right here. I use these all the time. So this is not something I just own. I possess it. So I use these all the time. They're my favorite sunglasses, and I feel like they look like cat eyes because they have this point. So I definitely feel good in these. So these I possess because I actually use them almost on a daily basis. That's not something I just own. So for ownership, that would be things like my closet, because half the clothes in there I don't even wear, because I am a corrections officer, and I mainly just wear my uniform all the time. So that's mainly what I have on every day. And if I don't have my uniform on and I'm not at work, I'm usually just wearing some kind of loungy clothes. So that's Hardwigg's possession, ownership, and consumption. People just want more and more, and they're very greedy. So to relate all these together, for instance, Russell states that there is a practical man when he only cares about material needs. Then within the realm of Marxism, a practical man will only want what he can get but does not want to work for it. The practical man is greedy. So that means the practical man will mainly own things. The practical man will not possess things. So that means that all of these fit together in that way. Because if you put Russell's value of philosophy, the practical man, so this is a practical man, you put it together with Marxism. He only wants what he can get, but he doesn't want to work for it. And then putting it all together to relate it to Hardwig, he will only own things. He won't actually possess them. So he becomes very greedy in that matter. So my argument example is my clothes. So, if I was a practical woman, I would only think of how I can get things that I want, material needs. If I lived by myself, I would still want my material needs, but I wouldn't want to work for it. So I'd ask my parents for an allowance, and my parents care about me, so they would give me the money. But my parents don't know what I'm doing with the money. They think I'm going to buy food with it. But no, I'm going to buy my material needs, and this is how these three arguments are related. So in an objection for part 3, people might say, well, why think of it negatively? Why don't you argue the instinctive man? Well, if I was to argue the instinctive man, all of these would not fit together as they do. So, if the instinctive man wants a tight circle with just his friends and family, and he wants to have a good relationship with his friends and family, then that's someone who takes care of his mind, his mental health. But if I argued that, then the instinctive man would not relate to the Russell's value of philosophy and Hardwig's ownership, possession, and consumption, because the instinctive man is not greedy, but the practical man is greedy. Or an objection might say that, oh, well, the practical man is just stressful, going through a stressful part of his life, so he's overspending to compensate for his stress. Well, no, that wouldn't be right either, because if he's going to continue to live his life that way, all of this put together is the definition of greed, turns into greediness, and this is how all three of them relate and go together. This class was such a big help for me, definitely in my job as well, because this has allowed me to be a better speaker, and I'm definitely going to take this with me throughout my career to become a better speaker and to study more on giving talks and presentations and everything like that. Professor Deaton really helped me in that aspect. So thank you so much for this semester. Have a great summer.